this doesn't work, guys, I'm sorry. I've tried 3 times today. So let me get the pinned message real quick. Warning, this is not a politically correct stream. I suggest you leave if you are easily triggered. There we go. Welcome back, Kat. I'm glad it's actually working. Everyone else, let's just make sure. Oh man, I'm so glad you said that because I was so worried. Oops, I forgot to shut my door. Let me do that real quick and then we will get started. Okay. All right. So first off, I apologize for if the microphone is annoying to you guys. I tried to use this, which is the microphone that I use for my reviews, but then you all said you couldn't hear me. So I know that this one is terrible, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a tech wizard. I'm an old man. I'm I'm still trying to adjust to all this newfangled technology. Hello, JP. Sorry I didn't greet you in the previous stream. I was just so startled by the fact that I was blabbing that whole time and no one could hear me. But I'm glad that you can hear me. Are there any problems with the streams? If there are, I don't know how to fix them, but maybe that'll help YouTube. Hello, Juicin. I don't think we've ever talked. To be honest, ever since that meme, I've had like an influx of subscribers. So I think I have like at least 4,000 more from that. So I do apologize if I can't keep track of every single person, but welcome in. So glad to see you. Orville, I can always count on you to be here. Thank you for the check-in, JP. I'm glad it's running great. To answer your question, Orville, I'm actually doing pretty great. I had a good day at work. Today is my Celsius day, so every Friday I permit myself to have a Celsius drink. I don't drink them every day because they have a little bit of sucralose, so not the healthiest thing, but it's one of the healthiest fruit drinks that you can get outside of water. And I like to give that to myself as a reward for making it through the week. Excited for the Switch 2, going to Comic-Con, just to name a few great things. So, Juicin, I meant besides water as a healthy drink in general. Thank you for correcting me on that. Usually I'm the one that's the grammar Nazi. But yes, of all the fruit drinks that you can have, Celsius is probably the healthiest that you can get apart from maybe 100% juice. But at the same time, Celsius has other benefits that I don't think fruit juice does have. Like Celsius is a metabolism booster, and that's the main reason why I drink it. I know you're probably thinking I don't need my metabolism changed. It's maintenance. Maintenance, not changing. Yes, thank you, Jevil. Welcome in. Haven't seen you in a while. Has everything been okay with you? So for those of you that don't know me, let me properly say this, because this is like the third time I've said it. I generally like to review video games on this channel. I try to do other stuff, but goodness knows I'm a traditionalist above everything else. I've been reviewing games since 2016. A lot of those old reviews are terrible, but you guys have told me you want me to keep them up so that you can see how much I've improved. I like to talk about Catholicism when I can. Sometimes I like to talk about Catholicism in video games and give people a unique perspective. Just turned 22. Very nice. 3 years away until emotional maturity. Very nice, Orville. Did you do anything cool to celebrate your birthday? I'm not a politically correct person, as you see in the warning, so I am not afraid to offend people by talking about my beliefs. I will try my best to try to be diplomatic about it, but like, don't ask me to do anything like preferred pronouns or anything like that. You're in for a disappointment if you do. So, just saying. But I am the type of person that I like to get into dialogues with people that disagree with me. I actually have quite a lot of trans supporters that really like my videos, and Even the ones that disagree with me, they like approve of my method of talking about my views. So I know my type's specialty is logistical intelligence, not diplomatic intelligence, but I think I've developed enough diplomatic intelligence where I know how to present my views firmly without coming across as overly offensive. Yes, I am so excited for that. I'm so excited for that, Jevil. I don't know if it's going to be Smash, though, but if it is, I'm not going to say no. Of course, I'm going to be happy if there's a new Smash, but at the same time, realistically, Sakurai is a man, not a machine. So you got to think about what he's actually able to do. So for the rest of you, I would like to know what are some things that you guys like to do? Like, what video games do you like? What movies do you like? Games, whatever it is that you like that's geeky, I want to know about it. Yes, I did see the ZA announcement, Kat, and you know, it actually looks like it could be halfway decent. I don't know if I'll play it yet. I want to see more of the game and to make sure it's not buggy, but it looks better than the very low expectations I had for it. So that is saying a lot. I was very happy to hear that they removed the turn-based combat. That was very nice. Um, yes, you are correct. I am not a Pokemon fan, but I have liked the spin-offs in the past, so we will definitely see. Hello, in defense of the Pope. I know a little bit of Latin. Welcome in. Yeah, it does look very generic. You know what, Kat? To be fair, I think I might do that as well. Don't know if I'll review it, but I would certainly play it if someone bought it for me. To tell you the truth, I wasn't really paying too much attention to the trailer, Juicin, but at the same time, I don't really know how evolution works, so I will take your word for it that it looks bad. Let's see. Oh yeah, beyond excited for Deltarune, Jevil. I actually went back and replayed Deltarune chapters 1 and 2, and even re-beat the boss that you named yourself after. I didn't do as good as I did on that YouTube video, but I still beat him on the first try. Didn't re-beat the one in chapter 2, which I won't say in case you haven't beaten him yet, but I love it. I'm excited. You got the Switch. Very nice, JP. Hey, you know what? The Switch is still going to be getting games for the rest of 2025, and there's going to be some in 2026, if GameFly is any indication. So you're not obsolete just yet. It could be like the 3DS situation, where they kept that around for 2 years. There were some eShop games that were released sporadically, but Nintendo themselves supported it until 2019. Power Rangers, I never watched that. I did watch Treasure Planet, but it was so long ago I don't remember much about it. Security Breach. I tried playing Security Breach. It was terrible, but maybe that's because I played it on the Switch. Let's see here. Turn-based thing. Yeah, you do seem like the type that wouldn't be very good at turn-based stuff, Cat. Not gonna lie. That would be very interesting seeing you play something like Fire Emblem. Pokemon in general. Um, the only mainline Pokemon game I ever beat was Let's Go Pikachu. And I was not very good at it. A lot of people told me that I had very basic understanding of the rules because they didn't explain the whole gist of type advantages. I had to figure it all out myself, and some were pretty cryptic. Hello, Big Lover. Welcome in. I didn't realize you were still on my channel, unless you're a different Big Lover than the one I'm thinking of. But so glad you could make it. Welcome in. Have you been doing lately? Jevil boss fight. It took me a lot of tries the first time I beat Jevil, but I'm referring to this most recent playthrough that I redid. It only took me one try, but oh, it took me forever the first time around. But then once I got into the pattern of it, I could consistently beat him a whole bunch of times. Splatoon and Metroidvanias. I'm good at neither of them, Cap, so we must have completely opposite preferences for gaming. Yeah, I bet Security Breach would be better. But even if Security Breach was better on PlayStation, I didn't like the fact where the save system broke. Like the thing on the wall that you click on to save was literally broken. Whew, that was a nightmare. That's the point of the game where I gave up. Hello, holidays. Is this Oneer? Oh, holy days. Sorry, so sorry. Welcome in. Glad you could be here. What are some things that you like, and any suggestions for how to make my channel better? Mario, hold on a sec, Jevel. Let me welcome in the new person, a long-time subscriber. Thank you so much, Stefan. Is it Stefan or is it Stefan? So sorry. I play Fire Emblem, so I always pronounced it Stefan whenever I saw him, referring to the character in Fire Emblem. Yes, live streams are not a regular part of my channel, so enjoy them while they last. Stefan, thank you very much. What are some kind of things that you like on my channel and want me to do more of? Caitlin, glad you could make it. I know you tried on the previous live stream, so glad you could finally get here. Pizzaplex without a story in mind. Did they really? Tell me more about that, JP, because now you got me curious. All right, let's see what you said, Jevel. Sorry about that. Mario Kart 9 has 24 racers. I'm not the type of person that looks at trailers in slow motion, so I'll take your word for it, but man, that's going to be hectic, because I already think it's hectic enough in Mario Kart Tour. I will say that I'm not the best at Mario Kart Tour, but at the same time, I have come in first place in a few rankings, and I still haven't paid anything for the game. Now, admittedly, I started playing it after they nerfed the pipe so that you don't need it to get characters and items, but I gave myself the goal that I was going to destroy the system of Mario Kart Tour by getting all the good characters without paying for anything. And I have Gold Mario, and that's like definitively the best character in the game without paying for it. So hard work and determination. Long plays and reviews, very nice. So here's the thing, Stefan. I have actually done a lot of that stuff. But I ran out of subjects. So if you can think of good subjects, I'd love to do that. Yeah, it'd be great. Um, Actually, when I started my channel, all I did was Catholicism. And then I said, you know what? I'm pretty good at talking about personalities. And I also thought that I was pretty good at public speaking, so I tried to do some more gaming stuff. But yeah, I'll definitely think about it. Like I said, I just need some topics because I could have sworn I said pretty much everything major. Favorite movie is Toy Story. I do love Toy Story. Never seen Dear Evan Hansen, but I love the first three Toy Stories. My sister told me not to bother with four. Oh, I'm glad you like my channel, Holy Days. That I really appreciate it. The church's eldest daughter? What does that mean? Does that mean like Jerusalem or Israel? Oneer is French for first. Very nice. Very nice. Games compatible. So here's what I think they meant by that, Jevel. The Switch 2 is obviously going to be much bigger than the Switch. Additionally, the Joy-Cons for the Switch 2 are snap-in as opposed to slide-in, which Nintendo Labo, for example, was designed with the Switch 1 in mind. That's why it doesn't work with the OLED or the Switch Lite. So I think any game that has not VR, Labo capabilities, or something like Ring Fit Adventure, where it requires the ring to do it, I don't think that's going to work. I think that's what they meant by the games that aren't compatible. Oh, okay. France. Very nice. I used to be able to do a perfect French accent, and then I forgot how to do it. Because I used to watch this show called Liberty Kids, where it was like retelling historic events, but like with modern children being transported into those times. And like they got, what's his name? Walter Cronkite starred in that show. And he did like the news back then. And he was like parodying himself. It was great. History of the Papal Line of Succession. Whew. I don't think that's really something that I have enough knowledge of. I will say, though, that I do have a friend whose his name is, his YouTube name is Historia Ecclesiastica, and he's way more suited to that. For me, I'm more so specializing in, like, how do I word this? More general church teachings. Like, what does the church teach on marriage? What does the church teach on sexuality? What does the church teach about Lent? You know, stuff like that. Stuff about, like, history and the papacy, not really my thing. What's up, man? Hello, Jensen. I don't think we've ever talked before, but again, I've gotten like 4,000 new people from the 3DS video, so I'm sorry if I can't keep up with you all. I never knew how to answer the question of what's up when I was in school. I would always say the ceiling whenever people would ask me, but assuming I've assuming I've understood your question correctly, what's up is that I finally have enough money to be able to get the Switch on launch day, and I'm going to be going to Comic Con this year, and my editor Esabel is going to be visiting me for a change. I got to visit her in 2022 and 2024. Now she's going to visit me. We live 15 hours apart, so we take what we can get. Oh, I hope the Joy-Con drift is fixed. Although, you'll be happy to hear this, Jevil. I actually have these kinds of Joy-Cons. They're based on GameCube controllers, and the vibration is incredible. I don't like how you have to like slide it into here really tightly, but you know what? The feeling is amazing. Yeah, more of a general take, because my dad's an apologist, and so I'm more about defending the church than I am about going into the nitty-gritty of it. Hey, I'm a nerd about games, so you know what? It's good to see another nerd. Oh, okay. That is that is a wild story, JP. Man, sounds like how Nintendo designs a lot of their games. That's crazy. I think they said that what was it? There was one game. I know that they said that they designed the Nintendo 64 controller around the Ocarina when they were designing Ocarina of Time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I know what you're saying, Jevil. Yeah, I can't play games without Rumble. I remember loving Rumble when it was introduced on the Nintendo 64. I actually had this extension for the Nintendo 64 called the I think it was called the Pulse Pack, where it was like even more intense than a regular Rumble pack. Like it was so intense that it had a red light on it to make the controller like really rumble. Like in games like Banjo-Tooie, whew, you could really feel it when Gruntilda's sisters were digging through the wall in Spiral Mountain. Okay, so for those of you that are new, I will warn you right now. This is what I call my source of life. I tend to get tired of my own voice, and my voice gets tired if I'm the only one talking. So once this is out, the stream is done. So I'm going to warn you right now. Sadly, I do not play Elden Ring, JP, but I do love the games that inspired it, which are Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Both my games of the year, their respective years that they came out. Shadow Labyrinth looks amazing. I plan on renting it from Gamefly. So what Rumble means, Caitlin, is when how do I word this? So when something happens in a game that is like impactful, like if someone hits you with something or you're like digging through something, anything that involves actual impact, the controller itself will vibrate on the inside because you can't really see it from here, but there's like fans on the inside that cause the entire controller to feel like your hands are getting a massage. And it really helps you feel a lot more immersed. And I love how modern games are having a more creative usage of Rumble. Like when Phoenix Wright is shocked by the prosecutor's debate, you'll feel the controller vibrate. Banjo-Tooie, yeah, I tried playing it again on Switch Online, and it was, oh man, it was, the aiming for the eggs was inverted. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry, but I'm going to delete that. I don't really want talks about sex here on my channel. But I will say right now, Isabel and I are not boyfriend and girlfriend, nor are we ever going to be. She's actually interested in another guy right now and is actually going to visit him in a few weeks. So I'm not going to get in the way of that. I'm not a love triangle kind of guy. Yeah, yeah, the term rumble used for games actually started all the way back on the Nintendo 64 with Star Fox 64. You'd have this thing called a rumble pack, you'd put it in the back of the controller, and it would let the controller vibrate. Loved it. Yeah, not a problem, Juicin. I just, so a couple of boundaries on my channel. I don't like talking too much about sex before marriage. I don't like people sexualizing anyone, guy or girl. It's possible for both genders to be sexualized. I don't like spoilers. So if you're going to talk about games, try not to say anything that's like going to give away an end game thing. Let's see, what was the last one? And try not to use profanity. That's another big one. Using Pac-Man's original name? Oh man. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Oh man, that's crazy. Oh, that's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait. To tell you the truth, Jevel, I'm not the biggest fan of Metroidvanias. Although I don't really like calling them that. I'm more of a, I like to call them open 2D exploration games because I feel like the term Metroidvania is a bit too lazy. Welcome back in, Link Link. Thank you very much for returning. How have you been doing? Like, for example, if I just called every open world game a Zelda-vania, wouldn't that just sound like I'm just saying, oh, it's copying The Legend of Zelda? Like, no. There are games out there that can have their own version of something that was started on another game. So just because Metroid invented that formula does not mean every game needs to be named after Metroid. Then again, I've noticed that most of the gaming industry is not as creative as me. Like, Nintendo makes a new game and they give it some of the dumbest names ever. Whew, I think I hear the door going, so I might not be able to do this for too much longer, but we will see. If there are any problems, I will let you guys know. Yeah, yeah, I'm loving the horror vibe of Pac-Man in that game. I generally don't like horror games, but every now and then, if it's done right, I really like it. Like Doki Doki Literature Club is one of my favorite horror experiences. One of the only horror experiences I've ever done, actually, but a very good one. And I did do a Catholic review of that game. I haven't watched it in a while, so my opinions might not hold up spectacularly, but how can I say this without spoiling the ending? Basically, what made me love Doki Doki Literature Club Plus from a Catholic perspective is that they have side stories, and in the side stories, the world is presented as what if the player did not exist in Doki Doki Literature Club? How would the girls act differently? And so in this alternate universe, they're more so getting along with each other than they are with the player. So then the focus is taken away from the dating aspect of it and focusing more on like general social skills and like how to get along with each other and respect boundaries. In addition, the main game is the main game has moments where it calls out its own ludicrousness. And that's the thing about the Catholic faith is it wants to be like the fulfillment of truth. And so if Doki Doki is willing to say, if you don't realize that this is true, what are you? That's basically what the Catholic Church says is, this is the absolute truth, and you can reach that using common sense and reasoning. I don't know how you would do that, but that's what St. Thomas Aquinas said. So, from the perspective of the side stories alone, there's some actual psychological like tips and tricks that you can use, and I also love how relatable a lot of the girls become. Like, I really didn't like the characters in the original Doki Doki, but whew, in the side stories, they had such dimension to them. Like Yuri was always my least favorite character, and then she became one of my favorites in DDLC Plus because of how the side stories, like I said, taking the player out of that universe made her just so much better, like significantly better. Oh man, I'm getting too excited. All the ghosts. Yeah, to tell you the truth, not much startles me when it comes to character designs unless needles are involved. Don't mention needles in the stream or I'm blocking your comment. Just saying. Because that's my worst fear, so do not try to mess with me. Alrighty. So, since I Oh, I'm glad I could enlighten you, Link Link. I hope I didn't spoil anything. I will say though, the side stories, you do have to unlock them by playing the main game. And there's also no gameplay in the side stories. So if you're looking for like new jump scares or like new poems or stuff, you're not going to get that. But the side stories are so good in the narrative, and they composed all new music for the side stories. There's new artwork, new backgrounds. It was my game of the year of 2021 for a reason. So that shows that if something is executed right, it can have an outside the box premise and still be good. So something with no gameplay still ended up being my highlight of the year. Random question. If God created a console, what would it be? Ooh, good question. Um, yeah, I'd have to think about that. Also, welcome in Aclot. I'm so sorry if I can't pronounce that right. I'll call you AC for now until you correct me in the comments. But glad you could make it in. What kind of things do you like to do, JP? So it's called Shadow Labyrinth, and it's basically an open world 2D platformer that has horror elements, and Pac-Man is in it. And it's a very weird game, but it looks very great. Gaming OFC. What does OFC mean? Christ-like console. Let's see. It certainly was hated on at the time because hardly anyone bought it. It is technically Nintendo's third least successful system, with the only ones worst are being the Wii U and the Virtual Boy. It had a couple of games that have never been ported, like Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, which, I love Path of Radiance so much. I hope that that game gets an HD remake because that might actually be my new favorite Fire Emblem. Radiant Dawn is not too far behind, but I think I might like Three Houses just slightly better because Three Houses has more balanced gameplay. But in terms of narrative, Radiant Dawn is easily the best in the series, hands down. Like, Radiant Dawn has such a good narrative that I used to have like every chapter in order memorized, and I would there was like this forum that wrote down like all of the dialogue in the game, and I would just read that over and over again, just be like, oh my gosh, I could read this story like 5 times and still find something new to discover. It's great. Yeah, I love the GameCube. I still have one, but it doesn't work very well, so I try not to use it. Thankfully, I think I've re-reviewed most of the terrible games that I reviewed in the past, so those should all be deleted from my channel, and now you should only have the re-reviews left. I would like to have Nintendo Land too, because I never reviewed the original, so I hope that they give more single-player content. That was the first Fire Emblem game I got into, JP, so what a Fire Emblem game to get into. Yeah, if it weren't for Path of Radiance, I would not be very good at Fire Emblem. DDLC was amazing. Yuri was... Oh, okay. Interesting. I would be... If you could give me your reasoning for why you think Yuri was your favorite, that would be very interesting. The reason why I didn't like Yuri in the original game, and I'm not going to say anything about the side stories so that you can experience that for yourself, but I just didn't like how she was constantly speaking in these intellectual, metaphorical terms, and I was just like, "Come on, girl, speak English, will ya?" And she was also, like, very hypersexual, like, constantly making innuendos and stuff like that, which I get was the point, but I think she went a little bit too far. And again, I know that was also the point, but considering that she did basically none of that stuff in the side stories, yet still felt like Yuri, like I said, that's why I love her in the side stories, is because they found the perfect balance between, like, removing that part of her that no one liked in the original while still keeping in the stuff that we did like her shyness and her intellectual love, while making her a bit more grounded and relatable because she wasn't trying to impress a guy. Nintendo Land didn't have Kirby. Yes, that would be nice to have more franchises. To be honest, Jeffel, I would like more Fire Emblem representation to begin with. I know a lot of people are saying that Fire Emblem is overrepresented in Smash. Personally, I think it's underrepresented because all of the characters carry swords. And there are so many good characters that would be amazing in Smash. Like Micaiah, for example, is one of the only lords in Fire Emblem history that does not use a physical weapon. She only uses magic and staves. So, like, imagine a character whose entire moveset could be based around light and healing people. And like one thing that made Micaiah super cool in Radiant Dawn is that she had a move called Sacrifice, where she could deplete her own health to heal others. And I don't know how that would be implemented in a Smash game, but I could potentially see it being something like Charizard's side B, where like he damages himself to do a really powerful attack. That could potentially be implemented. Let's see. A monkey horror game? Can't say I know what that is off the top of my head. Shy in a way? To tell you the truth, I used to be shy myself, kind of still am. It just depends on the energy of the room, because I tend to be the opposite of whatever the crowd is. So, like, if I'm around a bunch of quiet people, I'll be the talkative one. But if I'm around a bunch of talkative people, I'll be the quiet one. Because, like, I guess how do I word this? I guess I'm the type of person that doesn't like to go along with the crowd. I mean, you should know that from looking at almost any of my videos. Like, pretty much none of them are like the trendy thing to do. And even if I do like do something that everyone else does, I have my own twist on it. Like, again, see my latest couple of top 10 videos. They are very different than all the other similar videos on YouTube. Bruno Mars. I remember I used to like one of his songs, but I forgot what it was. It was I'm trying to remember what he did. Well, there was a really popular song that we played all the time at youth group, but no, I forgot it. Oh well. Now, to be clear, shyness has actually a very interesting definition. It's fear of social rejection. So there's a lot of people that mistake the word shyness with introversion, even though they're not actually the same at all. You can be shy and still be extroverted, and you can be introverted and still be talkative. But shyness is like how you perceive, or like what are your thoughts on how other people see you, and outgoing is like how much are you willing to assert yourself in a social situation. Whereas, like, a shy extrovert would be someone that maybe doesn't talk a whole lot, but still gets energy from being around people. And a talkative introvert could be someone who talks a lot when they're with people, but then as soon as they get home, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to crash and I'm not going to talk to people for a month. Don't like human interaction? Yet you talked to me on the mission trip, and look how that paid off. To be honest, JP, I probably wouldn't have liked human interaction if it weren't for the fact that I was kicked out of my school and was kind of forced to do it. And now at my job, I am the janitor. And since I work at a 24-hour gym, I pretty much have to talk to the customers. And they all really like me now. Some of them have even said that the fact that I'm always smiling is something that actually gives them motivation. Some people say I'm like the motivational speaker at my job because I'm always asking people what their good news is and I'm encouraging them to keep working out. And I think a couple of old ladies even said that they had like no one else to talk to besides me. So they appreciated when I talked to them. And if I had stuck to my pre being kicked out of school self, I don't think I would have been brave enough to approach all those people. Because when I first started my job, I was very scared of talking to anyone. But then but then one of the customers, I won't say her name for the sake of her privacy, but one of the customers, she introduced herself to me, and she said like, "Oh, hey, here's my friend." And once that happened, I just said, "Hey, if she can do it, I can do it. Just the way you are. That's the one." Yes. And the reason why that was popular in youth group is that we would sing it to anyone who had issues with the way that they looked, because we would say like, "Hey, just because you don't like the way you look doesn't mean God made a mistake." So I think that you should be accepting of the way that God made you and don't conform to all of this talk about like reaffirming surgery or like, "Oh, I gotta slather myself with all this makeup, otherwise everyone's gonna think I'm ugly." We're like, no, it's all unnecessary. Honestly, if there are any girls in this stream, let me give you a piece of advice right now that'll save you so much time in the bathroom, and that's most guys don't actually like makeup. Most guys actually think it's a turn off. But the reason why most girls wear makeup is because they're comparing themselves to other women. But if you're trying to impress men, the less is more because we like authenticity. In fact, in the animal kingdom, it's actually the males that are the ones with like the very elaborate colors. Like peacocks, for example, if you see them like holding up their tails and it's really beautiful, that you can tell that that's the male because the females are like all brown. But yeah, for some reason in the human kingdom, it's the other way around. So human women are the anomalies. I haven't seen it holidays or holy days, sorry. Vatican II, unfortunately, I don't really have much knowledge of Vatican II. I don't know if you were here earlier, but I basically said that my expertise when it comes to Catholicism is explaining why the church believes what it believes. So stuff like, what is the church's stance on marriage? What is the church's stance on sex, sexuality, Lent, fasting, that kind of stuff. Church history, not really my thing. But welcome in more for. I have to admit, when you first came in, I was I immediately thought the villain in my novel trilogy was named Mulcifer, and it like sounded kind of similar. So very clever. Yeah, the only time I've ever worn makeup was when I dressed up as a clown when I was a kid, and I hated it. So that never happened again. So yeah, I don't see myself as ever. I'm not really the type that alters my appearance a whole lot. Like, I hardly ever trim my hair. Pretty much all I do is shave. That's about it. Shave and comb my hair. Everything else is pretty much natural. Like, I take some medicine here and there, but apart from that, like, I, yeah, a lot of people think that I'm, how do I word this? A lot of people think I'm trans, but I'm not. Like, that goes so, like, it's so anti, how do I word this? I'm all about body positivity and accepting like the natural beauty of who you are and who God made you. And the trans mindset just seems like it's the antithesis of all that. So if I was trans, I'd be contradicting myself. But I know why people get that impression. It's because of the hair and the voice. But Adam's apple, there you go. I just proved that I was a guy without needing to undress. So you're welcome. Hmm. Oh man, you guys gave me some good questions. Thank you so much, by the way. I guess that is one thing I really appreciate about the growing popularity my channel has had is uh, I have a lot more to talk about with you guys. Yeah, I think so too, Jevil. I think a lot of girls would like that. As long as you understand, how do I word this? As long as you're able to phrase it correctly, because you could also say a girl is good just the way they are if she's a psychopath, and that wouldn't be good. Hello, strong heart. Glad you can make it in. So sorry if I don't recognize you right off the bat. I have like almost 6,000 commenters, so I sorry if I don't immediately recognize which videos you're from. Oh, Arizona, goodness. Oh my gosh, that seems like such a hot place. Not hot as in sexy, but like hot as in like the heat. So, yes, cool to see you too. What are some things that you like, Strongheart? An Instagram reel. Okay. Now, I don't have Instagram, so you'll have to fill me in on what that is. I'm glad you like the content. Is there any kind of content that you want to see me focus on? Let's see. When was the last time I went to Arizona? Oh, probably well over 10 years ago. What did I do 10 years ago? 10 years ago was when I took the picture of myself in the thumbnail that I did for this live stream. The one where I'm like sitting on the shark chair and smiling. That was 10 years ago. People say that I just do not age. Yeah, I just hit a certain age, and then since then, most people say that I haven't aged a day. I mean, like, obviously, I know from my own inner sensations that I've changed. Like, I can say, okay, there are certain things that I'm feeling now that I did not feel back then, but outwardly, not much has changed. Actually, you are incorrect, Yubi. This is a Peggle stream. She's just ditched the accent and gotten a complete makeover. So, no, I'm just kidding. Welcome in, Yubi. Glad you could make it. You been playing any cool games lately? Okay, so since I've got quite a few of you here that are not regulars, let me ask another question to sort of break the ice a little bit. How did you first learn about me? Because a lot of people learned about me through stuff like memes, and I don't really keep up with a lot of those websites. So I'm just curious what other people are saying about me, or if you just randomly stumbled upon me. And then another thing I'd like to know about you all is what is the most Catholic game you've ever played? For me, that answer is I had it a minute. Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That's my answer. I'm not surprised, AC. That's how most people discovered me. To tell you the truth, I'm probably not going to do an unboxing of the Switch 2 because as much as there have been some amazing comments on that video, there have been even more that are, ugh, there are even more that make me regret making that video. There have been a lot that are very spammy or one word or asking if I'm a woman, just really aggravating stuff. And I might change my mind if you guys petition enough. So go ahead and start a crusade for me to do it. And if you get enough votes and you get enough comments, then yeah, I'll change my mind. Not a problem. Yubi, sorry. To answer your question, I'm doing great. I'm so excited for Comic Con and Switch 2, to name a few. Art, gaming, and writing. I like art, but I'm not good at it. I cannot. Uh, oh, oh my goodness, you're that strong heart. I remember you now. Yes, 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 yes. I do remember that. Yes, it was so good to see that Princess Peach ranking. That was very, very well done. So glad you came over. I didn't expect you to come over, if I'm being honest. I thought it was a one and done deal. Yes, I do know that you love gaming since I saw that video. Um, that's for my ranking of the Princess Peach costumes. My favorite's the detective, but my favorite to replay would have to be the ninja. I think that's the one that I have the most fun going back to. But first time around, detective, hands down, was the best. Very nice holy days. I wish you guys could send links in here, but I don't know how to undo that. So it'll probably register as spam. Matthew Rakowski, welcome in. So glad you could be here. For those of you that don't know, Matthew Rakowski actually saved me from financial ruin last year. So don't spam my chat or anything, but like say a silent prayer thanking him for his support because without him, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So thank you very much for that. How are you doing? You learn how to cut your nails. Good job, Jevel. Uh, the thing about me is ever since I started playing guitar, I was forced to cut my nails because if you strum the guitar with long nails, that's going to hurt like heck. And then when I took a job as a dishwasher, not too long after that, they required me to cut my nails as a job requirement. So I don't like having long nails anymore. Dark Souls. Ooh. Okay. I'm curious. Interesting. Very interesting, JP. Oh, you gotta tell me more about that. I don't think I'll ever play it because it seems a bit too hard for me, but I'm very curious in what you just said. Let's see. Um, let me make sure I got all of your comments because I don't want to miss anybody. So I saw Link, saw YouTube in recommended. Very nice, very nice. AC, hope you'll start that campaign. Yubi, you were on vacation. Monifer found the Instagram reel. Holy Days saw it on Catholic memes. Okay, I think I've caught up with all of you. Very nice. I'm glad you guys are. How do I word this? Like, I've watched other YouTubers that have like thousands of subscribers, and there's like a chat a second. I would never be able to handle that. So I'm glad that YouTube says there's only 7 of you, so I can actually keep up with what they're saying, what you're all saying. Oh, I would love a Banjo 3. I think I'd like it even more than you would. I think I'd like it more than any of you here. And I can confidently say that because when I was younger, I had only 2 games, and those were Banjo-Kazooie and Super Mario 64. And can you tell which one I like better? I even have, let me go get it for you guys, actually, because I don't think those of you that are new know this about me, but I used to have 138 amiibos, but I had to sell almost all of them because, again, financial ruin. That was before Matthew came along and helped me out. But there was one amiibo that I did not give away, and that's this one, the only surviving member of the Purge, because these were the guys that I voted for in the Smash ballot, and Sakurai confirmed that they were number 2, and I was the one that voted for them, so my wish, I literally impacted game development. To answer your question, Link, I have played Pikmin. The only ones I haven't played of the main series are Pikmin 1, the original Pikmin 3. I played 3 Deluxe, but not the original on Wii U, and Pikmin 4. But I was not good at any of them. I'm not good at games where I have to micromanage lots of units. That's why Chapter 2 of Thousand Year Door is my least favorite. I know the popular opinion is Chapter 4 is really bad because the Catholics don't like a certain character's decision and the non-Catholics don't like the backtracking. Personally, I think the remake did about as good of a job as you could expect with the backtracking. And as far as that character, it's just one line, and I made a whole Catholic review talking about how you could completely interpret it a different way. And then it completely recontextualizes the game and makes Mario both a trans ally and a Catholic ally at the same time. So, 2 for 1, baby. 138. Yeah, yeah. I was an amiibo collector for quite a while. Yes, Matthew, I am so excited for that. So excited for that because Xenoblade X is the only one I haven't played of the series, and I it looks like it's going to be my favorite in the series because it looks like it has an open world. I would like Pac-Man to be in a Mario Kart game too. He does have a Mii costume in Mario Kart 8 if you scan a Pac-Man amiibo, so at least you sort of have him in there. I actually plan on buying Xenoblade X because I have some gift cards left over from Christmas, and that'll help offset the cost. Because goodness knows I'm not going to pay $60 for something that isn't like Fire Emblem. Yeah, I'm weird. I get GameFly for everything because GameFly lets me rent games because the Nintendo eShop does not have a refund policy. And goodness knows that there have been so many games that I was stupid enough to buy because they didn't have physical versions. And I said, even for the low price I paid, that felt like a ripoff. And so it was around, I think it was 2021. I reviewed a game called Lost Lands Dark Overlord, which is, funny enough, one of my most viewed reviews. And I had such a bad time with it that it ended up being my number one worst game of the year that year, back when I still did worst games of the year videos. And at that point, I just said, I am never going to just play games for their own sake again. I'm going to like try really hard to only play good games going forward. And that is why if you guys ever stalk my YouTube channel and look at the release dates of all of my reviews, you'll notice that the amount of games that I review per year has significantly slowed down ever since 2021. I've only reviewed 2 games so far this year. I think 2020, actually, I have the statistics right here, because I like to write everything down. So let me pull that up real quick. I wrote down how many games I've reviewed per year. So in 2016, I only reviewed 28. That's to be expected. That's when I first started regularly YouTubing. 71 in 2017. Again, keep in mind I didn't review with footage back then, so I probably cheated a few of those. 61 in 2018. 44 in 2019, 45 in 2020, given that year, 41 in 2021. So see, that was the year that I reviewed Dark Overlord. So let's see, only 39 in 2022, only 27 in 2023, and only 26 in 2024. So the numbers have been rapidly, like utterly declining. You know, Jevel, to me, pretty much any kind of representation in Smash is cool. Like, would it be cool if I got the actual characters instead of an assist trophy? Yes. But at the same time, it could be absolutely nothing. Like, for example, um, I was so happy that they put in a spirit battle of Ashley Robbins from Trace Memory, especially since Another Code Recollection was my number 10 game of the year of 2024. Because I loved the original Trace Memory. It was so great to have it back. But I don't know how you would make Ashley have a good move set, because if you know that game, you would know that she's not exactly the most suitable for a fighting game, shall we say. Like, all she really does is do some, like, the most involved thing she does in that game from like a physical activity standard is she pushes a rock out of the way. Like, how do you even work with that in a game like Smash? Like, sure, she has the DTS, which lets her like manipulate photos, but again, how do you convert that to Smash? Whew, I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, guys. Like, when I was a kid, I was told that I talked too much. So please, please let me know if I'm being too rude too. Pac-Man me costume. Yeah, no, I get it. I really do understand it. Like, um, I do think it's unfortunate that the arcade games had so many cool innovations, and Mario Kart 8 added none of them. I think that's really unfortunate. But at the same time, something is better than nothing. So the fact that we got a Pac-Man costume, a Mega Man costume, a Sonic costume, um, an Inkling stage, Inkling characters. Yeah, I'd love it if Mario Kart 9 had third party. Thank you, Link Link. I really appreciate hearing that. I don't know how to give hearts to statements, but that one, no, I can't do it. Sorry. I would if that was a comment in one of my live stream or in one of my structured videos. So thank you so much. That's great. Yeah, I'm one of those weirdos where I am I'm what you would consider a talkative introvert, and whenever I'm the one that's doing most of the talking, I always get so embarrassed. Because again, I'm the opposite of whatever the room is. So if no one else is talking, I'm super talkative, and if everyone else is talking, I'm super quiet. That's why you might have noticed in my vlog when I went to go visit Isabel, I was a little bit quieter than usual because it was me, her, my travel buddy Teresa, because I don't like traveling alone, and her sister. So quite the big group of people. Imagine a Pac-Man stage. Ooh. You know, there actually is a Pac-Man stage, one of the Mario Kart arcade games. So I don't need to imagine it. I can just look at that. But yeah, I'd love it. I feel like the closest we have in the current Mario Kart 8 would be Waluigi Pinball. I feel like that kind of suits the general Pac-Man aesthetic really well. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, I would love it. But you know what I would love more than a Pac-Man stage in Mario Kart? I would love to see. Hmm, that's a good question. Because I feel like Mario Kart 8 filled most of my dreams for Mario Kart. A story mode. Something like Diddy Kong Racing, where in that game you could explore an overworld and like find hidden passageways. I would love it if you could do that in Mario Kart 9. I would love it if like there's cut scenes and missions and stuff so that it's not just a multiplayer only type of experience. Because if oh, thank you, Matthew. I'm glad you were here to join it. What was I gonna say? I don't know how many of you pay attention to what games I review, but for those of you that do, you might have noticed that the games that are like multiplayer only tend to be the ones that don't end up on my best games lists because I'm the type of guy that I don't really like online multiplayer that much. So if a game has a story mode, that is usually going to make me think more highly of it. You're right, Jevil. You're absolutely right. I should have said that, especially because Banjo Pilot was an entire game that took racetracks based off of Banjo Kazooie. Yes, I would love Spiral Mountain. Highly doubt that would ever happen, though, because Smash is one thing, but Mario Kart, that's a whole nother beast. Sakurai is special. I don't know if the Mario Kart team can say the same thing. So just a heads up, guys, this is how much water I have left, aka my life essence. So again, once this runs out, I am done with the stream because, like I said, the water is what keeps my voice going. And once my voice goes out, I can't do it anymore. But you know what? I have been going live for almost an hour. So for the first time back in probably like 2 or 3 years, I think I deserve a little bit of credit. Mm. Okay, so just curious. Ooh, we got a new person. The Epic Zelda Cup. Oh, yes, like a Zelda. Oh, hey, thanks for stopping by, Holy Days. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and so glad you could make it. Yes, I would love a Zelda Cup. Like, I loved Hyrule Circuit in Mario Kart 8, and I'd love to see that reinvented. Purge 2 says, I know you really like Nintendo games. Do I own more consoles? Um, I do technically have an Xbox One, but I don't really play it. That's my sister's. She used to have an Xbox 360, and I played Sonic Generations. I technically played a couple of seconds of Call of Duty, but that's because she was having trouble with one section of the game. But I'm terrible at shooters, so the only thing I did was helped her jump into a helicopter. Uh, I played Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction on a demo kiosk at GameStop. That was on the PlayStation 3. I was so good at it that the kid next to me said, "You must play this game all the time." I said, "I don't even have the system. It's just dumb luck." And then if I were to ever play something on the competing systems, my number one go-to game, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like that is like the game that I would hope to come to Switch to. But if not, if someone gifted me a PlayStation 4 and a copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I would not say no. I would be ecstatic about that. Lent is coming up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, I love Lent, but at the same time, there's such a feeling of dread every time it approaches because it's like, what am I going to give up this year? I already have such a minimalistic life compared to most people. Uh, I liked Kirby's Dream Buffet at first, but now that I've 100%ed it, I don't think I'll ever play it again. I played way too much of it. Yeah, I might play Fall Guys again. Maybe if like Paggle streams it, but that game lost its appeal pretty quickly as well. Again, it didn't have a story mode, so Fall Guys kind of it lost a lot of my interest really quickly because it required you to play online, and um, I don't think I ever won a tournament either. So I kept getting discouraged because I was like, I don't really feel any kind of satisfaction with like some kind of objective being solved. That's why I don't play Rocket League anymore because there's no objective there either. That's why I gave up on New Horizons pretty quickly because that game was kind of directionless. I do love. I know people say Princess Peach Showtime is directionless, but boy, do I love that game so much. But that's directionless in a good way. It's you have a lot of variety in how you approach the objectives, but the overall objective itself is to save the theater. So the set pieces feel more dynamic and there's a lot of like really cool stuff going on. Speaking of Princess Peach Showtime, is Strongheart still here? Because I'd love to get into a discussion about that game. That was my number 5 game of 2024. Yes. To tell you the truth, Purge 2, I haven't actually played that many Final Fantasy games. I played 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls on the Game Boy Advance, hated it with a passion. And then I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 12 when it came to the Switch, hated that one too. And then I played Final Fantasy 15 when it came to the Switch, and I really liked it at the time, but looking back on it, I was blinded by the fact that I thought the PS3 original was cool because that game was buggy as heck. Like it crashed on me several times. The graphics were hideous. The characters didn't even emote. Like it made it look like an Ocarina of Time ripoff at times. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, oh, that looks amazing. Like, I love Xenoblade Chronicles, so it seems like it's similar to like that style of gameplay. Also, I forgot to welcome you in. Good to see you here, Purge 2. What are some things that you like about my channel? So sorry, I didn't mean to fish for compliments. I just want to know like if I'm doing something right, if I should keep doing it. Plot for Dark Souls: Journey to rekindle the flame of the world. Okay. Okay. You know what? That's that's kind of abstract. But at the same time, it has an interesting premise. Hmm. Let's see. The doubled Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Hmm. Yeah, that is a good question. They're going to have a lot of catching up to do with 8 Deluxe having 98 courses. Hopefully, they can have quality over quantity in this new one. My favorite story in any video game ever. Now you got me thinking about that, JP. Well, the most Catholic story I've ever heard in a game is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. No competition. I mean, flat out, the game has a how babies are made cutscene, and it's like not even overtly sexual. It's like so beautiful and pure. And then my favorite story in a game in terms of sheer awesomeness, Zero Time Dilemma. Yeah. It's by far Zero Time Dilemma. I mean, I wrote a whole novelization about it, so of course that's my favorite. Final Fantasy doesn't have much continuity. Yeah, I have noticed. That is great. That's why I can jump into Final Fantasy VII without worrying about anything. Why did Espel have a section? Because she's my editor, and I also thought it'd be cool for a non-gamer's perspective on something. Plus, she works for me, and I want to make sure that she always has something that she can be working on. Now that we've finished up with the best games videos, things are really slowing down for her. And she's the type that doesn't accept charity. So she says that she always wants me to push her to the limits of what she deserves with her pay. And since she loves video editing, I use that as an opportunity to be able to edit herself in addition to me. Hope that answered your question. Ah, Javel, I think the reason why they made Jamboree was because Mario Party games just don't know when to give up. Because, like, of all the Nintendo systems that have been released that actually have Mario Parties on them, the only one that had less than two was the Wii U. So I think they just wanted to make more because that's how they do it. They don't do DLC, they just keep making more. Oh, thank you so much, Purge 2. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm a brutally honest person. Um, that's why I had the pinned comment, because you know that I'm just gonna say it like it is. You know, to tell you the truth, that is something that I really appreciate about some of my latest comments, is that I've had some trans people come onto my comment section and say, like, "I don't agree with you, but man, do I appreciate the way that you say your points of view." And you know what? There are trans people that I could say the same thing to them. Like, and again, I'm not politically correct, so I'm gonna use birth pronouns. So if that triggers you, now's your chance to leave. But there's a trans person that I've watched a few of his videos. His name is Blair White, and he's, very reasonable, usually has a semi-rational perspective, and he even did a discussion with Ben Shapiro where, like, they just had a civil discussion about, like, if you saw someone who looked like a girl, even if that person wasn't a girl, how would you address the person? I'm like, "That's a good question. That's a good debate," and I like the way they both handled it. So, if trans people cannot be aggressive and threaten me like they did back at my job, then yeah, I'm willing to have a dialogue. Funny thing about dating, couple look to tell you the truth, Jevil, my first girlfriend and I were, confused as being siblings when we went on a retreat together because we both had the dark hair. Now that I think about it, we didn't have anything else in common. She and I are almost complete opposites in terms of our physical appearance, but we did both have long brown hair, and I guess that alone is enough to say, like, "You guys are siblings." So, I don't know what's going on with people's minds. But, to tell you the truth, I don't really get confused with my actual siblings all that much. Like, usually people are shocked when I say, like, "Oh, hey, this is my brother," or "This is my sister." They're like, "Oh, you are? You guys don't look anything alike." Every now and then we get people that'll say, like, "Oh, yeah, I can see the family resemblance," but it's pretty few and far between. But some people, this is what's really weird. Some people have sworn that I have an identical twin. But, I don't actually. I have an older sister that was miscarried, but that's not the same as being a twin. And no, I think she was miscarried about a year or 2 before I was born, so I call her my accidental twin, really hoping that, I'm able to do God's will so that I can meet her one day. You know what, Link Link? I may be a guy, but I actually can relate to that because, as you probably can tell, I have a pretty high pitched voice. And so, whenever, because we used to have a landline at my old house, and when I would pick up the phone, people would always think I was my mom. And when my mom would pick up the phone, they'd always think it was me. And then after, like, my sister started being brave enough to pick up the phone, they always got the 3 of us mixed up because my sister and I kinda sound a little bit alike. Like, obviously, I can tell the difference, but the average onlooker would probably say that we sound the same on the phone. And people would be like, "Oh, Paul?" She's like, "No, this is Paul's sister." So, I get it, I totally get it. And my mom has very similar hair to mine, except she has bangs and I don't, and her hair is slightly more wavy than mine is. Peach, oh gosh, I cannot stand peaches. It starts out cool, but then the screeching that Jack Black does is unbearable. Honestly, I like the song in the original Mario movie better. You did tell me that most of your siblings have long hair, JP, so I'm not surprised in the slightest. People never get me and my siblings confused when we're actually in person because we all have very different personalities. And my brothers and I, we all, like, have very distinct facial structures, and, we all have very distinct voices too. So, I think, like, if one of us were to be on the phone, it would be pretty obvious which one of us was talking. But, a couple of things that my siblings and I do have in common, we all play the guitar. We all, were in the music group at our youth groups. Uh, we all We've all played video games at some point or another. I probably play them the most. But, Let's see, what else? Um, we've all dated someone whose first initial was an A. In the case of my brothers, they married girls whose names start with an A. Because my brother married someone named Anna, my other brother married someone named Annette, my sister dated someone named Adam, and I dated someone named Autumn. So what does that tell you? You know what? I can't say I've ever watched Dragon Ball Z, but I do like to imitate voices, as I'm sure you know. I don't know who Carl Wheezer is, JP, but that's cool that you can imitate anyone. I know some people that don't trust their imitation abilities. I've been told that I can imitate Daniel Radcliffe and Mario really well. And oh, actually, the person that people say I can imitate even better than Daniel Radcliffe is Rupert Grint. My friend Danielle loves my Ron Weasley voice. She said that sometimes she forgets that she's not watching the movie. I won't do it right now for you guys though because my throat is kind of sore from all this talking. But like I did a video a long time ago called Deathly Hallows Voice Imitation. So if you want to hear it for yourself, give it a try. It is a pretty outdated video, but I think the voice imitations themselves stand the test of time. If someone else was singing it besides Jack Black, I probably would have said those are really good lyrics, Jevil. But sadly, yeah. Yeah, the original Mario movie song was better. Actually, speaking of the Mario movie, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but the new one, not the one with Bob Hoskins, the 2023 Mario movie is actually my second favorite movie at present. My favorite would have to go to Beyond, no, not Beyond, that's not out yet. Across the, no, that's not it. Yes, Across the Spider-Verse. That's my favorite movie. Second favorite is the Mario movie. I just, I don't even know how to describe it. The Mario movie is just such a feel-good movie, and I generally don't remember the plots of games as much as, or the plots of movies as much as I do games. But the Mario movie, like, I can pretty much recite it from start to finish, not a problem. I find it funny that I thought Roger Craig Smith quit being Sonic, but it turned out he just for some reason made his voice lower in Sonic Frontiers. So apparently he's still voicing the character all these years later. Crazy how some actors just love to stay on the roles for a really long time. Mike Pollock, same thing. Like he's been voicing Robotnik for who knows how long, and whew, he's still going strong because he was still voicing Robotnik. And oh, Adam, oh, thank you so much, JP. Tell him I say that my back and shoulders are still just fine. They sometimes hurt a little bit after I do like strenuous labor at my job, but like they're nowhere near as bad before that mission trip. Ooh, I'm getting really tired, guys. I might have to wrap this up sooner because I'm starting to feel my voice like almost acting like it has a cold. All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I know my limits. But thank you guys so much for showing up. Let me see if I can thank every single person that showed up, just to make sure I don't forget anyone. Even if you're not here, I'm still going to thank you. Thank you, Time Jester Jevil, JP the Steampunk Artist, Link, Purge 2, Matthew Rakowski, um, ooh, Holy Days, one, or I forgot how that was pronounced. Kateri Games was here earlier, so thank you for that. AC Lut. I'll just say AC. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Holy, I said that already. Strongheart. Thank you so much. Yubi. Time. Monifer. Uh, Cats Plays was here earlier, so thank you for that. Juicin, thank you very much for coming. Orville. I think there was someone else who had a J in there besides. Oh, Stefan, thank you for coming. Jensen, there we go. Thank you very much, Jensen. And I think that's everyone. A big lover. You only said one thing. So sorry. Hope I didn't scare you away. M Defense de Papa. Oh, I'm so sorry. Maybe the stream wasn't working. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I had a blast, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And like I said, if you want me to do the Switch 2 unboxing, start a campaign because I'm really thinking I'm probably not going to do it. So thank you very much for stopping by, and remember to keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Have a good one, guys.